Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the EE PowerTalk episode 8. My name is Eli.
My name is Elvis.
And you can call me Daddy Blessing.
Mm-hmm.
Mimi ni baba dati nao nitawasubua. Nitawasubua mpaka mkamate. So the world is ever changing, my bro.
Yeah.
And 5 years ago, we couldn't have thought that people like us, ordinary people, we could be sitting here having a conversation that could, in the normal circumstances, be held at a radio station or at a media station. And we have adapted and we have found a way to do it by ourselves. The world is ever changing. That's a change in communication. Things have been simplified and some others have been made difficult. There is this aspect of adapting. People who don't adapt die. You either adapt or die. There is a theory of dinosaurs and all that. They couldn't adapt to the harsh conditions of the earth and all that. That's why they died. If you don't adapt, you die. In whatever it is that it doesn't mean natural death. That could also be true for some instances. But if you don't adapt to a certain way of doing things, your career might die. I mean, in the onset of COVID, how many things died? Because they refused to adapt to the new ways of doing things. I can count many businesses that went bankrupt because they were saying, hizi mavitu za online with R. Hizi mavitu za online atuelewi. So, for us to invest in those things that you're telling us to invest, at content creator, to employ mtu akuwe ana create content kwa biashara yetu, we cannot. Look at the companies that adopted. From 2020 to 2024, those are 3 good years. We have had a crop of new millionaires and billionaires in this country just because of adapting to new things. So, I just want to talk about how to adapt to new things, new ways of doing things, how to adapt to new environments, and how to get going when it comes to getting in line with how things are done nowadays. I've given a very good example of online and all that, and how we have adapted like this sit down and turned something that traditionally couldn't have been possible, and now we are delivering our own content to our audience just because we have adapted. I'd love for you to mention some of the things that people ought to have adapted, but they didn't, and they ended up, not seeing the light of day.
I think one of the things that has not been adopted, and something that people really ignored, is technology. Technology has come to actually change a lot of things. And especially in the job market itself. Right now we are speaking about freelancing. We are speaking about remote jobs, working from home. Who would have thought that something like that would have happened 5 years ago?
Well,
just a few people.
And speaking of which, working from home was considered lazy.
You're lazy when you're working from home. Now, there's someone who is making so much money working from home than someone who has a conventional 8 to 5 and has an office desk, has a company vehicle, but is earning less.
Yeah.
And that is why everyone is always complaining about young people working from home and doing some things online. And people wonder, what is it that you're doing? All I need at the moment is a laptop, technology, internet. I need a very good smartphone. Yeah. Zoom actually started getting traction during COVID. When people realized that instead of holding our meetings in the office, why don't we do them online? Why don't we continue with business as usual?
Yeah.
Most people didn't adapt to that. Right now, it's much easier for you to run an agency fully online than have a physical office.
Very true.
Why? You don't need expensive real estate. you don't need to have these big and massive offices. You only need a means and a way to operate.
Yeah.
Technology allows you to do that.
Very nice.
Most people didn't really get to understand that technology might come and replace most of the things that we do.
Yeah.
And that is why you're hearing everyone now complaining about AI.
Yeah. Very true.
AI has come to make work easier and efficient for us. Those people who will adopt it right now, 5 years from now, you'll be hearing people, where did you learn these things? Yet, they've always been here.
I like how you've put it, that those people who will adopt it right now, having a growth mindset, that is what allows you to adapt things. There is a danger to seeing failure in everything that you see, because it is new to you. Something that is new to you, even if you're a successful person in a certain field, yes, it is wise not to engage in things that you don't know, but it's also unwise not to learn. That is why there is space to learn. You adapt after learning. We don't tell people to adapt before learning. Learn, try to incorporate that new thing into your workflow. Is it fitting? Now that's a growth mindset. You are learning first before accepting the norm or the way people are doing things. The reason most people fail when it comes to adapting is because they want to just dive in. Like you've said, the people who are adapting AI right now, 5 years to come, they'll be doing things and people will be like, okay, where did you learn that from? It's because they are learning right now so that they can incorporate it into their workflow in future. Like I had said before, you either adapt or die. Many jobs are gonna be replaced, but guess who is not gonna be replaced? A person who has been able to integrate AI as their assistant. Me, I don't see AI tools as my competition. I see them as my workmates. You're making my work easier.
Make your work easier.
You know, instead of telling people these things are coming to steal your jobs, these things are tell people now, learn how to use them. You know, long time ago when in the era of motion pictures, during the age of Charlie Chaplin, all those people, movies that had no audio, when they introduced audio, a whole industry quit, because nini hiyo mnaleta, itakuwa na faida gani? Watu wamezoea tu kuona watu wakitembea tembea vitu funny nini. Then the first audio visual movie hit Hollywood,
and people are like, that's it, we are not gonna go back to motion pictures that have no audio. This is the way. Now half of the industry quit, saying this new thing hapana, our audience wamezoea hii. There is that wrong assumption of watu wangu wamezoea hii. There is a danger. Maybe let's say you're in business thinking that your people are not growing. They're growing. They're seeing what your competition is doing.
Why do you think big companies rebrand and change their messaging? Yeah? There was a biscuit called, what was it called? Do you remember Nini? Britannica? Yes.
Disappeared.
It disappeared. Why? The messaging was off. Those kids were being, it appealed to those kids were your time.
KSL.
Au watu waligrow. Waligrow wewe huku grow. Ulitaka kuappeal to the next generation. It doesn't work like that.
The same thing as Celtel. You remember
yes.
Celtel was overtaken by Safaricom.
Easily.
And it's the same thing that we're seeing right now. Safaricom fearing competition.
Yes. Because you see, that's a very good example, because Safaricom knows what it did to other companies.
Yes. Now they are afraid of experiencing
exactly.
Because if you can imagine, if Elon Musk was to introduce SIM cards.
Kaput.
And the moment he also provides a financial solution, a fintech solution that is better.
Guess what? He has one. And when it comes...
anyway, we don't want to wish anyone something bad. But anyway, it's the same thing. Like I was looking at Starlink.
Yeah.
This thing, the Starlink Mini, I'm hearing that you can actually carry it. and you utumie power bank.
Kwa
How
gari, on the move.
convenient can that be?
Yeah.
Because now as a freelancer, you're like, I don't need to be in Nairobi all the time.
Yeah.
I just need to go to Ushago, stay with my parents, still working.
Have something with crazy speeds.
Like for me, I'm at the point where I'm having to think about purchasing one. Why? Because we change as time goes.
Yes.
Now it's not the time we should be speaking about hotspotting.
Yeah.
We should not be speaking about poor internet connectivity. And it's the same thing that you're finding a lot of businesses closing today. Most businesses still believe in the idea of walk-in customers.
Yeah.
Have you gone to Moi Avenue? Unapata gorofa like HH Towers. But there's someone who has a business on the 10th floor.
Yeah.
6th floor.
Yeah.
Making sales. And someone who is at the front.
Yeah.
And you wonder why. This person probably knows how to create better content and is able to create videos and is able to create something that makes sense.
Yeah.
These guys who still believe in the open
walk-ins.
Another example, bro, is a website.
Yeah.
I've always sat down and told majority of the elder generation, you're good with your stuff, you know everything about yourself, you know how to do this and this, but someone is not going to come and listen to what you say.
Yeah.
They need to see something. If you're a graphic designer, it is not your words that are actually going to sell.
Yeah.
It is what you've put online. Most people have not adapted to that. That is why, like right now, bro, we are moving to an era where co-working spaces are going to be the thing.
They're actually the thing now.
I'm in a co-working space.
Yeah.
Do you know how much I pay every month? 23,000 Westlands.
Yeah.
23,000. I get internet speeds of up to 490 MBs per second. I don't pay electricity. I don't pay for cleaning. I have a desk I didn't buy. I just use it. If I need a boardroom, I can get it over there. Why do I need all these expensive to have to spend 2 million Kenya shillings on real estate I don't need? The change is here.
Yeah.
That is why you're realizing that nowadays most commercial buildings are vacant.
Yeah.
People are working from home.
People moved their offices back home. That's why the you see the age where your house is just not a place to rest anymore, or to just, if you need to enjoy time, you work, then create time for vacation. We are slowly adapting to that culture of I'll be working, then I have time for vacation. Actually, people are adapting that culture of going out after work.
Exactly. And I also want to add something. No one said that you should be working 9 hours a day. For me, I find it, when I'm very productive, I've only worked for 4 hours a day. I can even work 2 hours a day. How? Utilizing what we have to make everything efficient and effective for you.
Yeah.
If there is some work I can wake up at 5 and in 2-3 hours I'm done, why not wake up at 5 and do it?
Yeah.
Like it's really something we need to think about. We've now adapted to something we refer to as productivity, not work.
Yeah.
You're
productive.
You're rewarded for how productive you can be. That is why we hear a developer in Kenya working for a remote company, for a company remotely in the US. Guys earning $3,000, staying in the house. You have your job, you have your corner office desk, you're paying payee, you're paying all these things, you're earning 80,000 Kenyan shillings. In terms of thinking on productivity, who is more productive?
Of course I am.
You know your stuff.
Yeah.
Comes in the era of skills. People have not adapted to that. No one cares about your billions of papers.
To double down on what you just said, people want to be busy. You want to be seen busy.
But you're doing nothing.
You want to be seen everywhere. Elvis, kuna event Elvis is speaking. Kuna sijui nini Elvis akodhea kama mheshimiwa, mgeni wa details. For those who don't understand French, I have said the guest of honor. But really, when we look at you being productive, you have really not achieved anything. So now, adapting to change is very important. And there are different stages that you need to undergo so that you initialize change. One is noticing. Number 2 is acting. And number 3 is being consistent. Notice a change in a certain industry or your industry. Note how other people are doing things. Have that will and the urge to know how it's done, because if someone else is doing it, you can do it.
Of course.
Me, I say, if someone did it, I can do it, and I can make it even better. I can do my own research and add up to what they've done to make it even better. Number 2, acting. You have seen, you have noticed, now act upon that which you've seen, because you can notice and baadaye usemange na by the way kitu nilikuwa nimeona. You have heard that. Many people see something, a revolution happening, then they go to sleep, wake up, a revolution has happened. Where were you left out?
You were sleeping.
What way? They say, I saw this happening. Okay, you saw it. What did you do?
And that's the thing. I mean, we have to really get to understand. Like, I'll give you an example. At the moment, people are building personal brands. Watu wamechoka with the whole aspect of employment. So it's much easier for you to have the right skill set and build a personal brand on it. So you can imagine, right now you're creating content, right? 5 years down the line, you'll still be doing that.
Absolutely.
You have 450,000 followers by then. Someone who was to start as you in 2024, 5 years down the line, 2029 is going to be saying, I saw this guy growing.
Yeah. Tulianza na wewe kitambo.
You don't remember me? Tulianza na wewe. The last video they posted was in 2024. And you see, as you said earlier, revolutions happen while you're asleep.
Yeah.
Change happens while you're asleep. It's the same thing we think of things like blockchain. I think you've heard blockchain,
blockchain, cryptocurrency and all that.
You've heard of data science, data analytics.
Yeah.
Come 2030, that is when you're going to see Kenyan universities rushing to say, oh yeah, we have a data science course, trying to woo people to come into the school because they realized, oh my goodness. And our education system, if you're not very careful, might crumble.
Yeah.
People might stop going to university. Why?
The irrelevance of what is being taught there.
The relevance. And again, people will start realizing, why would I have to spend 1.5 million Kenya shillings in that institution? Yet, I can go to Udemy and buy a course at this amount. E-learning has come in.
Yeah.
People don't care about your expensive, overrated course. They care about the value they get from you.
Am I gonna know?
Am I going to know how to do this? Like, if I was to create a course and tell people that I want to show you how to use this particular microphone. This is a Focusrite Scarlett. So you're going to need to have an audio recording software in your computer, something like Audacity.
Yeah.
You see, I'm giving you step by step. And I'm teaching you how? Online. Companies, businesses, institutions have not yet adapted to that.
Yeah.
Why would you have to tell someone to go and take a master's program, knowing well that they're not going to be kept in the same company? Yet, you can go and spend like 6,000 Kenya shillings, which is the norm now, get to learn a skill, understand it, hone it, and better yourself with it. I mean, we have to adapt to what is going on around the world. We have to think about this change that is here with us.
Yeah.
It is here to stay. ChatGPT is going nowhere. Content creation is going nowhere.
Yeah.
Digital marketing is going nowhere. Co-working spaces are here. And if 10 years down the line, they're done, you have to adapt to what has happened.
Yeah, and when it comes to adaptability, many people will resist adapting. And that's where they get crushed. And I see this, the reason why many African countries we are lagging behind is the kind of leaders that we elect. We elect leaders who are hardcore to old ways of doing things. That's why when there is a new way of doing things,
they fight it.
They fight it with a lot of regulations. One, not because it is bad, it is just because they don't understand it.
Actually, I would like you to read a book called Why Africa is Poor by Bruce Mills.
You're
going to see it.
Instead of taking time to understand what this is,
Mm-hmm.
they regulate it to death.
Mm-hmm.
Regulating good ideas kills them.
Mm-hmm.
Ni kama a newborn. You've been told the mother is supposed to breastfeed for 6 months, then the child can start eating food kidogo kidogo hapa na pale. Then you feed that child food in the third day. You will choke that child.
Mm-hmm.
So when a new formula of doing things is introduced to an African country, the leaders want to choke everything out of that young child that has been born. Then after 1 month they say, see, we said this thing does not work. You have put so much pressure on this person who brought this idea. You didn't incubate it enough to get the full vision of whatever it is. That is why you see them quote unquote fighting Starlink, because they don't understand it. First of all, some of them have political interests.
Same way they were fighting TikTok.
Absolutely, because they don't understand it. In the case of TikTok, it's also an issue of adaptability. You can't say TikTok is bringing pornography. TikTok brings you what you're searching for. Sir, if TikTok brings you pornography, you have been watching pornography somewhere else.
Certain MP has been probably watching some bimbos online.
Yeah, period.
Anajibamba anako like...
Yeah, you know, these platforms, because of you accepted to their terms and conditions, some of which require these platforms to communicate with each other so that they can know what kind of adverts to bring you. That is how it's called the Internet of Things. Things communicating with each other so that they can manufacture an experience that is tailor-made for you. So how can you tell me that your TikTok is bringing you pornography and mine is bringing me skills? I've been looking for skills online.
We are using the same TikTok.
We are using the same skills, but wewe ile side ingine ya Chrome una search website fulani, ukikuja hii side ingine itakuletea huyo creator mwenye unadai. So it's also when you now stand and start regulating it, because inakuletea that nini, first of all you haven't learned how things operate, so you haven't adapted, so you'll think this thing is bad because you haven't understood it. Another thing when it comes to adapting, resistance will be there, so you have to brace for impact, especially if you are a brain champion of that specific idea, because there is no way things are gonna be just accepted straightforward. When ChatGPT came, there was a lot of resistance, bwana.
People are like, hey, this thing is helping people do homework.
It is helping people do homework. Oh, it should be regulated. Every time you see a politician saying it should be regulated, they don't understand that thing. They are simply saying, okay, hii kitu hatuelewi. Yeah? And it might replace some of our personal interests in some things that maybe, quote unquote, we have invested in, or it might harm our certain experiences because we are not willing to do that work to understand how helpful this thing might be.
I also might bring in a topic of discussion of how we rush to adapt to useless things.
Thank you.
Another thing like quail farming. You know, people start doing things. Yeah. Unaona mtu, like I remember by the time quails, I never saw quails.
Yeah.
But I remember Ushago.
Yeah.
People had quails.
Yeah.
And they were feeding them after they realized it is a scam.
I'll give you the story of there's a very famous story of gold rush.
Yeah.
People who made more money were the people who were selling spades, not the people who were mining gold.
People were selling the shovels.
Yeah, the shovels, because everyone is going for the
gold.
This is the thing that is trending. But the opportunity is everyone who is going for the gold does not have a shovel. So time ya quail, the people who made money wenye walikuwa nauza hizo mayai. And hii kiralia sijui siku ngapi, it will hatch chickens and all that. Nini za quail, za kuku ni chicks, za quails ni kameramani.
Quailman, quail chicken,
quailen.
Quailen. But you see, ideally, at the same
Quail
time,
Junior.
it's like these. We rush to adapt to, as I said earlier, we rush to adapt to
useless things.
Useless things. There's this thing we've seen of people investing in online watu wanaenda wanapata something. And this one is going to be my parting shot actually, where people, you don't have to adapt to anything that any Tom, Dick and Harry has told you on social media. There is a time where there was this talk about these companies where you invest. It's Bitcoin mining. There was a company called BTCM. Honestly, I was like, wait, you guys don't understand that crypto is not regulated in Kenya.
Yeah.
So anything you do, the government is not there.
It's not liable, yeah.
And I had someone who had put in 400,000 Kenya shillings in BTCM. And I was like, you dudes, you have YouTube. Go and check YouTube and see the kind of infrastructure that is needed to mine a Bitcoin.
Billions upon billions.
Well, umeambiwa if you invest 400,000, you're going to be getting this kind of payout every month.
Can I tell you something? There is this company that manufactures processors called NVIDIA.
Share price.
Do you know their biggest market share? They sell to people who have those servers of mining Bitcoin. Because someone have invested maybe $1 billion in dollars, my friend. Dollars.
Kenya shillings.
See, Kenya shillings. Someone has invested $1 billion in dollars for mining Bitcoin. Wewe, aya, for 50 tukiturn na Bitcoin, tukiturn na dollars.
Inakuja, is it
$4,000?
$3,000 something
yes,
dollars.
$3,000. Hiyo hata itabuy PC moja ya gaming.
I mean, some of the times, people don't use logic.
So, you are there to mine with nini? Sasa, tukieka nikale ka region kangu nitaweka kwa mine Bitcoin. Hakawezi. So to close on this, you either adapt or die. But if you adapt to the wrong thing, death is assured.
Don't adapt to nonsense.
Don't adapt to nonsense. Adapt to the right thing. And if you don't adapt, you'll die. My name is Eli. Or Daddy Blessing. See you in the next one.
My name is Elvis. Adapt.
Adapty.